Sometimes people ask me, like, where do you get your hope from? You know, how do you press on? How do you just keep doing what you do day after day? The first source of hope for us has got to be the brutal facts. If we're not willing to face the brutal facts, then we just live in an illusion and we can't really do the work that we're being called to do. Once we face the brutal facts, once we open our eyes and say, okay, I'm willing to look at whatever I need to see at this moment, then I think we take this opportunity to look at three tenses. About this time of year, I'd be looking forward to going to my annual pilgrimage to see Dickens's Christmas Carol here in Cincinnati at the Playhouse in the Park. Of course, this year it won't be on. But in the Christmas Carol, Scrooge is visited by three ghosts, the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas future, or the Christmas that will be. I think it's a great analogy. I think it's a great way for us to look at our lives from time to time. I think tonight it is good for us to reflect on our past, on our present, on our future. What does God want to do in all of those things? Well, God wants to heal our past. Where our past needs to be healed, God wants to heal it. God wants to engage us in the present. He wants us to fully experience the present moment. And He calls us to prayer and reflection. He calls us to all sorts of spiritual experiences so that we can get focused in the present moment and really fully engage in the present and fully experience the present. And in the future, and what we're going to do in our second session tonight, which I'm looking forward to, I've never done it before in this way, and I'm really looking forward to it, is we're going to have a look into the future, and we're going to dream with God. That's what God wants to do with us. He wants us to dream with Him about the future. In order to get to the present and to move on into the future and dream without limitations in the future, one of the things we've got to do is make peace with the past. With that being said, I think there are a couple of things that I notice so many millions of people struggling with. The first one is, you are not what has happened to you in the past. Those things may have happened to you, but that is not who you are. You are not the things you have done in the past. You may feel guilty about some of those things. You may feel good about some of those things. And it's good for us to feel good about those things, and it's good for us to feel guilty about some of those things. Guilt is a good thing. It keeps us away from danger. It keeps us focused in the right direction. It keeps our moral compass pointing toward true north. But there's a difference between guilt and shame. I think when a lot of people look at their past, they experience shame. Shame is a useless emotion. Shame is a soul-eating experience and doesn't come from God. You see, what is fundamentally the difference between guilt and shame? When we experience shame, our inner voice says to us, you are bad. When we experience guilt, our inner voice says to us, you did a bad thing. And there's an enormous difference. There's a world of difference, three universes of difference between those two things. And so it's important that we give shame the gate. Shame is like the carcass of a dead animal on the road that you just have to step over and move on. And guilt is a great advancement from shame. If you can move from shame to guilt, that's an enormous advancement. And there are some things in our past that we should feel guilty about. There are some things in our past we should apologize to God for. We should apologize to other people for. And that's okay. And that's okay. So you're not what's happened to you in the past. You're not what you did in the past. You're also not what you've accomplished in the past. There's so much more to you. And that's what we want to explore tonight. We're going to look at amazing possibilities. We've got to get at the potential of you.